Tesla engineering talent have been inside Twitter's San Francisco headquarters this Thursday, evaluating and assessing the underlying code which powers the Twitter platform to help Elon Musk understand it. There have been meetings, what they called code pairing, where you sit down and work on it together. But all the signs from both sides, the debt side and the equity financing side, and what I'm hearing from sources, we'll get a close of this deal Friday as expected.
Well, that was one of my first questions. Was like, how long is he going to be CEO? Because, like, don't you have enough to do? And it was sort of like, well, we're not sure. But he's definitely CEO of Twitter. So, that I think Tesla investors are going to have to get used to.
Well, it's official. In addition to his extensive real estate holdings living rent-free in many people's heads, Elon Musk now also officially owns Twitter. Not only that, but Musk is moving with a serious sense of urgency. There's so much going on this morning, I almost forgot to plug Patreon. Almost. There's now 187 exclusive videos and counting, plus access to my Tesla price targets. So, you know what to do. Card in corner, link in pinned comment. See you over there. So let's start with the juiciest news of all. Elon Musk now in charge of Twitter. CEO and CFO have left, sources say. This gonna be good. Tesla CEO, Techno King of Tesla, formerly Tesla CEO, is now in charge of Twitter, CNBS has learned. Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal, ex-Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal, and finance chief Ned Segal have left the company's San Francisco headquarters and will not be returning, sources said. I think that means they have officially been canned. Vijaya Gadde, the head of legal policy, trust and safety, who I believe, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I believe had an all hands on deck Zoom meeting with Twitter employees when this acquisition was initially announced, then literally cried. Now, there's nothing wrong with emotions, but it is my personal opinion. If you're in a leadership role within a company, and you can't keep your emotional together, there to inspire trust and confidence, you get on a group Zoom call with the whole company and have a cry, probably not great for morale. Vijaya was also fired, the Washington Post reported. Musk had until Friday to complete his $44 billion acquisition of Twitter or face a court battle with the company. So we know all the details in the background, I won't rehash them, but the point here right now, latest reporting, Elon Musk has officially taken control of Twitter and already begun cleaning house. Let that sink in. We've got so much to discuss in this video, let's move on. This is a fascinating insight into the way Elon Musk is thinking about Twitter, advertising revenue, and the future of the company.
And now Elon with a note to advertisers trying to reassure them, saying Twitter obviously cannot become a free-for-all hellscape where anything can be said with no consequences, Jim. Even as the New York Post just suffered an apparent hack a few moments ago.
You mean I don't need bodyguards and have to constantly contact the police because of what's written? By the way, true.
It's the first sort of longer communication we've gotten from Musk. And again, as Carl said, as we've been saying, tomorrow, no more Twitter. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah.
In light of Meta and Snap, how much did he overpay?
A lot. He overpaid probably by $20 billion, give or take. Yeah. But you know what? He said, the reason I acquired Twitter is because it's important to the future of civilization to have a common digital town square where a wide range of beliefs can be debated in a healthy manner without resorting to violence.
Is that Jack Dorsey's speech?
And there is currently great danger that social media will splinter into far right-wing and far left-wing echo chambers that generate more hate and divide our society, and went on from there.
I guess that's my cue to go on from there. Let's read the full letter to advertisers. Here's Elon's tweet. I wanted to reach out personally to share my motivation in acquiring Twitter. There has been much speculation about why I bought Twitter and what I think about advertising. Most of it has been wrong. The reason I acquired Twitter is because it is important to the future of civilization to have a common digital town square where a wide range of beliefs can be debated in a healthy manner without resorting to violence. There is currently great danger that social media will splinter into far right-wing and far left-wing echo chambers that generate more hate and divide our society. In the relentless pursuit of clicks, much of traditional media has fueled and catered to those polarized extremes, as they believe that is what brings in the money. But in doing so, the opportunity for dialogue is lost. That is why I bought Twitter. I didn't do it because it would be easy. Story of Elon's fucking life. I didn't do it to make more money. I did it to try to help humanity, whom I love. And I do so with humility, recognizing that failure in pursuing this goal, despite our best efforts, is a real possibility. That said, Twitter obviously cannot become a free-for-all hellscape where anything can be said with no consequences. In addition to adhering to the laws of the land, our platform must be warm and welcoming to all, where you can choose your desired experience according to your preferences, just as you can choose, for example, to see movies or play video games ranging from all ages to mature. Wait, Is Elon saying that users should be able to control what they see and experience on the website instead of the website itself dictating what they're able to see and not see, discuss and not discuss? Treating us as if we're sentient beings who can make our own decisions with our own brains? These crazy billionaires and their crazy ideas, as if that's going to work. I also very much believe that advertising, when done right, keywords, can delight, entertain and inform you. It can show you a service or product or medical treatment that you never knew existed, but is right for you. For this to be true, it is essential to show Twitter users advertising that is as relevant as possible to their needs. For example, targeting blow-up dolls to Tesla Q virgins. Low relevancy ads are spam, but highly relevant ads are actually content. Fundamentally, Twitter aspires to be the most respected advertising platform in the world that strengthens your brand and grows your enterprise. For some strange reason, the name Tesla keeps coming to mind. It's probably nothing. To everyone who has partnered with us, I thank you. Let us build something extraordinary together.
By the way, remember, it's calling it the X app. As I reported, there's still potential equity raises going on. You know, he's going to close, but maybe he'd sell down some of his equity if others want in. The X Super app that he's got this idea about. Obviously, the company's going to start its life as a private company tomorrow with $13 billion in additional debt, and clearly significant interest payments as a result.
You were wrong. No one's been fired yet.
I didn't say that. The Washington Post reported 75%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to be sure.
Yeah, that wasn't me.
No one's been fired. He's been there for almost 24 hours.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure that he will
let some people go.
I'm sure he will let people go. There was that report in the Washington Post saying that it could be as much as 3/4 of the staff. That's hard to imagine it would be that large, but there are certainly going to be changes at Twitter, significant changes. And as I had reported many months ago, and I don't believe this changed, he's going to be the interim CEO. He now calls himself Chief Twit.
Chief Twit changed his bio yesterday. People asking what the significance of the sync was yesterday.
I got to admit, I did have a bit of a laugh watching the confusion around the whole kitchen sink. I mean, guys, it's just a joke. It's great marketing. Elon knew this would go everywhere in the media. People are like, what the hell? He's bringing to life the idea of let that sink in. Literally letting it sink in to the Twitter. Do you understand? It's a joke. That's the whole point. People are talking about this. They're confused about this. It makes world news everywhere. I mean, I even got a message from my dad yesterday. Elon brought the sink. Hilarious. That was the point. And by the way, I just want to address all of the Poindexters in the comments on yesterday's video. Bro, it's not a kitchen sink. It's a bathroom sink. If you haven't already been diagnosed with autism, probably get that one checked out. And I say that as an autist myself. I don't think you guys got the joke. Take things too literally. Sometimes you can completely miss the point. If you guys ever get the opportunity to get laid one day, it's going to be very awkward when you start hearing things like, hey, stop! And actually think that's what she meant. Hashtag, that's probably going to come back to bite me one day. For more hot takes like this that'll probably get me cancelled one day, join Patreon. Carding Corner, link in pinned comment.
You obviously are a big Elon fan. I see him communicate with you on Twitter. If he's Chief Twit, what does that make you? Are you going to be Chief Comment Guy?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be Chief Comment Guy. I'm in on the deal. I'm in on the new Twitter. So we've invested in Twitter as a privately held company. It's actually called X now. I've fully briefed on the business plan, and hopefully we'll have some role in dealing with the media and hopefully helping guide many of the difficult decisions and choices that Twitter will have in the future.
So you're confident he's going to be able to balance everything? I guess if he's been balancing 2-3 companies already, what's 4?
Well, that was one of my first questions, is like, how long is he going to be CEO? Because don't you have enough to do? And it was sort of like, well, we're not sure. But he's definitely CEO of Twitter. So, that I think Tesla investors are going to have to get used to, and SpaceX investors. But, Elon is really good at putting talented people around him that can operate effectively. So I assume he has a plan to do the same exact thing in Twitter. And I'm excited to see that start to take shape.
So can you give us some insight, from the conversations that you're having, the messaging that he put out to the public here about advertisement? Frankly speaking, it seems like it could be a very good thing. Ultimately, he wants to try and create a more neutral space. I think that you'd have to be blind not to realize that much of our social media world has been divided now along party lines in a very ineffective way.
Really? Partisan bias in social media? I didn't notice.
But how does he take that into an idea that's going to make you money as an investor?
Well, I think investors have to look at the overall business plan for the future of Twitter, which involves really 3 prongs. One is obviously making it a better platform, which is a win for users and advertisers. And if it's a better platform for users, it's a better platform for advertisers. So I think that solving the bot issue and verifying users is one of the core things that can really improve the platform for everybody. And as a victim of hate and spam and bots on a daily basis, I'm really excited to focus on that problem. Personally, I know Elon is as well.
It stuns me that Twitter hasn't already taken this step to verify user accounts. Now, I know the actual overhead in terms of doing this will be quite high. You know what else has high overhead? Employing countless people to fact check, censor, delete and suppress ideas, opinions, tweets and thoughts they don't like hearing out loud, instead of stifling conversation and interfering in the democratic process. If these same idiots instead were employed to verify users' identity, that might be a great step. Now, let's explain how this would work, just in case you're a potato. Step 1, give users the option, do not require them, but give them the option of being verified as a legitimate human by providing some government ID, etc. This is a real person. Now that can be tied to that account. They can now have a check mark. This is a real person. They have been verified as a real person by Twitter. This is totally separate from forcing people to disclose their actual real name on the platform. People can still have the option of remaining anonymous while also having been verified as a real human behind the scenes. And now here's the crazy part. This will automatically give users the ability to visually distinguish between real human who's been verified and possibly not a real human who hasn't been verified. And wait for it, here's the crazy part. Give them an option. I do or I do not want to see tweets from unverified accounts. Tick, untick. Do you understand the power of this one feature? How easily to remove 99% of the basement dwelling trolls who hate their lives and spend their entire days alt accounts just to troll individuals. Gone, like that. Don't want to see posts from unverified users. So why hasn't Twitter already done this? You know, bigger fish to fry, like ensuring that Orange Man Bad didn't get a second term. Wait, did I say that? I think you imagine that.
So cleaning up the platform. Number 2, I think what is really important to Elon is actually creating a subscription model, which is actually how the media used to be, which was you subscribed to a newspaper and you paid the newspaper for its services, so that advertisers were really a secondary source of revenue. And the fact that advertisers have become a primary source of revenue and almost no subscription revenue is driven by the media today, that has created this I would say echo chamber / pay for clicks model that has not served the public as the traditional media had in the past. So the subscription model is going to be based around verification and other benefits that will really make many, many users want to subscribe because they'll actually get a benefit for it. And it'll be a nominal subscription amount, but it will add up with tens of millions of potential users. And then the third element is really creating a creator economy around Twitter, because that drives great people on Twitter. People like me who put a lot of time into Twitter. I do make money off Twitter because we get business from Twitter, but we put a lot of videos out and a lot of things on Twitter that are better monetized on YouTube. And building a better creator economy really attracts the 3 pillars of compensation that creators are making. One being YouTube being the main source.
Can confirm my main source of income, well, not including OnlyFans, is YouTube revenue. You guys know about my OnlyFans, right? Did I ever mention that? No, probably not.
2, you have Patreon. And
can also confirm my second largest source of revenue as I record this is Patreon, which you should definitely join. And by the way, guys, as I said the other day, I'm taking this motherfucker over. No. You don't understand. I am not kidding. I'm taking Patreon over. We're just getting started. I just checked the Solving the Money Problem Patreon page. Some random, narrow, tiny little subject, Tesla and some other shit. Bad jokes, too many F-bombs. Already in the top 250 all-time creators on the Patreon platform, out of more than 250,000. Yes, that's right. Already in the top 0.1%, and I'm just getting started. The reason I'm saying this now is so we can check back in a few years' time and see what happened. Because, as I said, I am not around. I do not make bold claims out loud on the internet or anywhere and fail to follow through. Just you watch.
And 3, you have OnlyFans.
See, even Ross knows about my OnlyFans.
So if you can combine, and not to mention commerce through an integration maybe with Shopify, but when you add commerce and a creator community to Twitter, the potential is unlimited.
He's right. The potential really is unlimited. There's so much obvious low-hanging fruit here on Twitter. Even just looking at the website through my own needs as a creator versus a consumer. How easy would it be for me to integrate a store selling products on my Twitter profile? Just look at my profile. Here's some links to some products, just like you see on my YouTube videos. Below in the description, just above the video somewhere, you'll see thumbnails to products I currently sell on my merch store, which you should definitely buy. Speaking of merch, actually, I love poking the bear. If you're an engineering nerd, check out the latest design. Make manufacturing great again. There'll be a link in the pinned comment. Check it out. P.S. Please tell me in the comments why this merge design makes you mad.
And do you think the verification process will still allow anonymity? Is that going to be part of the app still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I think the idea that we can have an avatar and sort of have this like version of us that we want to be on social media is part of the metaverse in theory. So I think that accountability is driven by the fact that there's a human behind the account more than I have to use my name, you know? And so I think a lot of the individualism of Twitter would be lost if you were just forced to be your name. So for me, it's really about knowing that that user's a user than what they call themselves, you know, whether it's the whole Mars catalog or whatever. I know it's Omar, but you know what I mean? But it's like, I think that makes Twitter unique, and I don't think it'll change that.
You know, partly at first, he says in his statement that he doesn't want it to be a free-for-all hellscape. Early on, it kind of seemed like maybe he was open to that idea a little bit, that it would kind of be a Wild West, which would certainly maybe not be the best place, but would be different. To some degree, what he's describing here sounds like he's basically just trying to create what others have tried and failed to. So do we have any clear kind of steps that he's going to take? Is it more just kind of a trust fall that, hey, he's done his other things well, he'll be able to make this beautiful X home base of content better than others have too? Zuckerberg clearly has struggled. Obviously, Jack failed, I think we can say.
Right. Right. No, I think he said in the letter very clearly, I expect this to be just as challenging as going to the moon or building an EV company, which were ridiculously challenging things. And that's why he's doing this. I think, you know, Elon thrives on the most difficult challenges humans could want to deal with. And, you know, that's just him. It's not me, that's for sure. And most of my dealings with Elon really are incredibly difficult as well, including this deal. So, you know, I think that's the uniqueness of it. But he looks at these problems as engineering solutions. And so what I think he's trying to do is create a transparency around the process of the communication that goes on. Like, why is this inappropriate? Why is this not inappropriate? And so that there is less confusion on what the rules really are and how they're applied, because he's really going to apply an engineering and not some sort of esoteric committee of tweet analysis. Right. You know what I mean? And I think there's this big fear that Elon's going to sit on the weekend, like approving free speech. And that is absolutely not the way he sees the solutions for Twitter. He very much sees them as engineering solutions and algorithmic solutions that will create transparency. And I think better clarity of what is acceptable and not acceptable.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking, is that the engineering solution to be able to somehow quantify what people are contributing. Are you contributing to the conversation in a quantifiable, positive way? That to me would be the holy grail for Twitter.
I'd love to know what you guys and girls think in the comments below. How would you define contributing to the conversation or to the platform in general on Twitter? I think as a starting point, if your tweets are interesting, informative/educational and or entertaining, probably off to a good start. If your tweets consist of nothing more than Elon's a fraud, I hope you fucking die in a fire, you're ugly, etc., maybe not so much.
Is there maybe a way to show that you interact with people outside of your bubble? Maybe you get earned points or something if you interact positively. Maybe we rank our conversations. Did I have a productive conversation? Right. So does he have to hire some software engineers, though? Because it seems like he's laying everybody off, according to the reports.
You know, once again, I hope to bring clarity to what's happening at Twitter to people in the media, because I think there's a lot of reasonable fear. I don't think it's unreasonable about what's happening, but one must consider the current situation is the worst possible situation.
Ross Gerber really does have a point. In its present state, Twitter really is the dumpster fire of all dumpster fires. It can only get better from here.
So we really can only improve on the areas of transparency and what I think algorithmic solutions to positive contributions and tweets. And I get so much out of my positive and often my critics. Okay, I respond to plenty of criticism on Twitter as long as it's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to say my fund's down 40%, you're right. And it sucks. You're right. And I'll interact with you if you're doing this in a positive manner. You know, it's like, I think the fear is that we're going to stifle criticism, but that's not what it's about. Then somebody goes on and says, you're an a-hole or whatever. And you're like, how does this help anything? And so I think the algorithm will downgrade and upgrade quality of conversation. And so we can build algorithms that do that. And that is what Elon's doing, is he's looking to hire engineers who already work at Twitter first. Okay. This is part of the misinformation here. He wants to hire people at Twitter to work for this company who already work at Twitter. Okay. So that's what's going on right now, is he's in a rehiring process. But how many people that's going to be it could be any amount. So they do expect a large amount of layoffs because there's way too many people at Twitter.
Sadly, this is true. Now, this is an interesting way of reframing things. Elon isn't firing most of the company. He's just rehiring internally from existing employees. If they're up to scratch, they get the job. And if they're not, see you fucking later or get a better engineer instead. One of the harsh realities of business. Something many Silicon Valley tech companies have forgotten, if they ever knew in the first place. Too busy singing Kumbaya in the corner, holding hands, and discussing how to prevent so many microaggressions from occurring in this dangerous, unsafe workspace we currently exist in. Now, I just quickly want to share a few tweets from a guy with 3 first names here. Quote, I am very excited to see what Elon Musk does with Twitter. Also, I strongly suspect some of the best employees at Google, Amazon, Apple, Airbnb, etc., who, goes without saying, are not infected by the woke mind virus, will be desperately seeking jobs at Twitter ASAP. Guy goes on to write, people are underestimating the magnitude of the shift within tech companies as a result of this deal. Everyone who isn't infected with the woke mind virus will want to work at Twitter, and all the woke warriors who leave / are let go / shit-canned by Twitter will end up at Google, Amazon, Apple, etc. This will serve to accelerate the slow rot from within big tech companies. It will take time to play out, but play out it will. And just to bring things full circle on the topic of things that will most certainly play out over time, just wanted to remind everybody that I really genuinely do intend on taking Patreon over. Strategy is pretty simple. Provides so much value, so much exclusive content. You simply have no choice but to join the growing community. I do just want to take one final moment to discuss Patreon. Thank you so much to everybody who's already currently supporting the channel on Patreon. It's just bizarre to think that a tiny little channel where I basically deep throat talk about Tesla constantly, it's a very narrow subject, somehow punching so far above its weight on Patreon versus all creators on the platform. When there are podcasts here with millions of people watching and I'm within spitting distance, this is bizarre to me. It just goes to show how many people care deeply about Tesla, the company, their mission, and my spicy hot takes that simply cannot be posted on YouTube for fear of being permanently removed from the platform. If you haven't got the hint already, it's time for you to join Patreon with the card in the corner or the link at the pinned comment. Love ya.